Uh, really proud of this group. Really proud of the way they came together to win in all phases. It took all three to get that done at the end of the game, and to watch the guys execute down the stretch. And was it perfect? No. Did we give up some big plays? Yes. And we had some things we need to clean up procedurally, but we took steps. We showed progress. We're coming together, and the execution is starting to improve. And it's all because of the work. It's all because of the way that the guys have taken the practices so seriously and communicating with each other and really growing this team. So I'm just proud of this group coming together to find a way to get a win.
Dave, you said back in the offseason it'd take about 4 to 6 weeks to know who this team is. 6 weeks in, do you have a clear enough picture to know who you guys are?
Yeah, and that picture kind of keeps changing. You know, we've been affected by injuries with different people, coming to us. And of course, this week we're going to have a few more guys that are going to have an opportunity to come help us and trying to find that chemistry. But it's finding the styles of runs. It's finding the style of pass game that's going to work for us. And as far as the defense goes, same thing. It's finding the coverages and pressures that work for us. Scheme-wise, to play off of each other and swarm the football like we expect, and I'm seeing that, yes, I'm seeing that part come together, but I think the picture still isn't crystal clear. We're still waiting for some guys to continue to make bigger impacts, things that we expect them, to grow in and to help us with.
And with guys who potentially could help you, Jalen Coker, you guys not activated him last week.
Yeah.
How close was he, and where is he at right now?
Well, he's really close. He looks great. We'll give you the full report on Wednesday, but this week is going to be a big week for him to really prove that he can do it and handle the load that we're expecting.
Who else is among that group of few guys that could help?
Yeah, it's JT Sanders. It's Austin Corbett. His window will open this week, and to see where he's at physically. And again, this is proving that we can handle the physical load from a football standpoint. So it's Turk Wharton. It's all those guys. Chuba, of course, yeah.
Your O-line has been performing pretty well, especially over the last couple of weeks. They've allowed you to run basically whatever you wanted. How does that help with the fluidity of your play calling?
Yeah, it's so important. I don't have to second guess calls in different situations, in different areas on the field. I can just go with the call that fits the zone, that fits the area that we're in. And I don't have to take too many things into consideration when I have guys that I trust, like Brady Christensen and Yash, who has played, a couple of games for us over the course of time. So there is a trust factor there that's really important.
Just to clarify, you said Corbett, you were going to open his window Wednesday?
Yes, we will.
Along the lines of the offense and growing things, Bryce has got really good numbers late in games, coming back, game-winning drives, those kind of things. Are there common threads you've seen in him in those situations that kind of lead to some of that?
Belief, consistency. He expects to win. This has kind of been wired into him for forever. He was a high school winner. He was a college winner. In the pros, we're trying to build a team that expects to win, that expects to have success, and to see those outcomes be possible as a group. It's about belief. And that's what I see from Bryce is he just keeps believing. He just keeps going back and attacking. And when the odds are a little bit stacked against him in some games, and he might feel like there's, I've just seen him respond really well in a competitive way to take on the challenge and to hit it, right up front, to go to his guys that he counts on, T-Mac, Jimmy popping up. He goes to Hunter on a 4th and 4, so guys that he's growing trust with, just finding a way to win.
JC said that he went to Evero and asked to line up against Pickens on that last drive. Did you know about that request? And then can you tell me about him having the confidence or wanting to go up against the number one wide receiver? And is that something y'all could have done earlier in the game?
I love that about JC. I'm not going to get into the conversations about what happens with the coaches and the players on the sideline. Different strategies, different ways to affect it. If you're a man-to-man team, you can follow a guy everywhere all the time. We have a little mix of man, but we're mostly a zone team. And so from a strategy standpoint, I don't really want to get into the specifics of the conversation, but JC, love the competitiveness. He's like, put me over there. He's got that pit bull mentality. I wasn't aware of that until after the game. But again, I'm glad we have guys like that want to take those challenges.
Another example of this being a player-led team?
What's that?
Is that another example of what you envision when you say that this is a player-led team?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the results of things that happen in the game. Now, we do need to play within the system. We need to play within the confines of what we're doing. We also ask the guys, don't make stuff up. Let's just execute our ball and trust the calls that are out there. But I want feedback from the players. And it's up to us to be responsible with that information as coaches. We know just because a player asks for something doesn't always mean we do it. It has to fit within the nature of the full game plan and the opponent that we're playing. And but these are really important things because it's about ownership. At the end of the day, if something is yours, you'll do whatever you in your power to protect it. You'll do whatever in your power to make sure that it's successful. And as I see that ownership happening throughout this group, whether it's Rico asking for a specific run, or whether it's JC saying, hey, let me go cover this guy, I love that type of ownership because they are the ones out there at the end of the day on the field that get to execute this game.
Prior to, free agency and looking at Rico there, when was the first time you actually watched him and studied him, and what were your impressions?
It was in 2023 in Tampa, and Skip Peets, the running back coach in Tampa, he had Rico as a practice squad running back in Dallas. So when he worked with me in Tampa, he said, a guy we need to take a look at is Rico Dowdle. You'll love this kid. He's aggressive. He's smart. He's really into it. He's a little bit quiet, a little serious, but he loves the game, plays the game with passion, and just kind of knowing his history. We didn't end up acquiring him at the time, but Skip was right. He's all those things. He's an aggressive runner, and he's tough, and he cares, and he's focused, and all the things you love in a teammate and a player.
Has he earned the right to be the starting running back now?
And we'll see.
Dave, going back to the offensive line, Damen Lewis has just been kind of road grading people the past couple of weeks. Bryce said sometimes y'all will even stop tape just to give Damen his moment. What have you seen from him just in the run game and blocking and everything?
It's his attitude. He is a violent player, and for him, it's like a one-on-one wrestling match. It's a fist fight out there for him, and he takes that mentality out there. He takes that aggressiveness and that attitude, the attacking mentality that we love. But I also think the hidden part of it is Damen just continues to improve his technique, and he'd be up here and tell you there are times where he gets out of his hands get wide, or he gets high in his stance and different things like that, and he's been really committed to the fundamentals, keeping good pad level. He's got natural leverage. He's a 6'3" guy. He's not a 6'5" guy, but just improving his fundamentals, I think, is one of the biggest pieces why he's playing so well right now.
Could you help explain what Derek Brown's return, how has that helped other guys in run D in particular? If it has.
He's relentless, and that's infectious for the whole group. You see a group running to the ball, and it starts with Derek Brown, and it's the reason why we had to have this guy long term, and the reason why he's a captain, and the reason why I asked Derek, you got anything to say? It's because of what he does every day. He does this in practice, and he chases the ball down, and if it's thrown down the field, he comes out the stack, and he chases the pass. If it's a run game, he knocks it back, he gets off the block, and then runs down the line of scrimmage, whether it's to him or away from him. And it's that type of mentality, that should be the standard. That's the standard for defensive football in general, and he certainly has a huge impact on his teammates.
What would you say are a couple other the keys to, the run D the last couple of weeks, I think 50 yards total you've given up. But in addition to Derek, what would you point to?
Setting edges, Pat Jones, DJ Wanham, Nick Scorton, Princely. Princely had a couple of nice plays on first and second down, setting edges and chasing it on the back half. And then, of course, having Bobby Brown, having Ashawn Robinson, LeBrian Ray coming back. He's playing great against the run, knocking things back. But it starts with those front five, and then it's Trevin and Boom just running like crazy. But even when we watch the film today as a team, you're seeing JC and Mike Jack show up in the run game. The corners set an edge. First the outside linebackers, then the corners start to come up and set edges, and all of a sudden your pursuit, it's a shorter run. You can set a tight edge, it's a shorter run to the ball, and it works that way. It's all got to be tight end.
You're very familiar, obviously, now with Bryce, and then also with Baker Mayfield, who's having an incredible season. I just wondered if you see any similarities in those two since you coached them so, much.
Probably the biggest similarity would just be belief and confidence. It's the return to the sideline after a touchdown or after an interception, and it's the refocus. It's the return to all right, we got more football, and just having that type of mentality but the next play could be a touchdown, and that's a great trait to have, and that makes me feel confident that I can just continue to call the game that's supposed to be called versus having to make adjustments based on what the quarterback feels. When Bryce gives me confidence to just call whatever's on the sheet for whatever the area is, and we can just build from there.
How important is it for Bryce to prove that he can win on the road?
I think it's important for the Panthers to show that we can take this on the road and play good football, stop the run the ball, be balanced and complementary. This is a big deal for us. We have to find a way to play well on the road. We're looking at all the things. We're looking at all the scheduling. We're looking at how we go to the hotel, how we travel, how we practice going into it. I'm scrutinizing all of it just to try to find an edge to see if we can help our team perform better from start to finish on the road. A great challenge this week going up to New York.
Helping you with that.
Jeff Brown, he's my guy. And then I just have a wealth of knowledge. I have Coach Caldwell in my pocket. I got Coach Capers that I can talk to. Harold Goodwin's my assistant head coach. He's been around a bunch of different coaches, and he kind of remembers the different flow and what worked for different teams. It's not always the same. What worked for us in Seattle doesn't necessarily work for us in Tampa, which doesn't necessarily work for us here. I'm trying to find that mix so I can do my part to make sure that the structure of it is right. Now, we can point to the basics, take care of the football early in games, and don't spot a team 10 points. That's big, right? Is there anything at all that's affecting how we execute and how we play? I'm willing to look at it and try it and just try to find an edge.
We'll do a couple more. You brought up Harold Goodwin.
Yeah.
The run scheming has worked out exponentially well over the last 2 weeks. What has he brought to those discussions with you and Brad, and why has it started to click?
Year one was about establishing the mid-zone system and getting the different variety of ways to that's the core of our system. And so I was really committed to making sure I got enough of those called through camp, through the season. Let's have Chuba grow with this system, learn how to hit the cuts, learn the front door cut, the back door cut. And you could see him over the course of last season really start to hit those runs and be patient with it and let it develop. How those blocks are hit on the second level as well, and what it takes to be connected. This offseason was about diving into now how do we protect the core of our scheme? How do we throw variety at it? Can we get gap schemes involved? Can we get toss cracks involved? Can we get the play passes to come alive? And the better you run the ball, the more the play action becomes deadly. And we hit a couple explosives yesterday in the pass game, just using different options. But Goody's done an excellent job of just giving variety and working with Brad. And they both were charged with, just looking at different teams and seeing what we can incorporate and things that we had in the past that we can grow to. And it's coming alive a lot quicker than I expected. And I'm very excited about where we're at with it.
Last question from Scott.
You faced Steve Wilkes' defenses before. What are the primary challenges you expect this week?
It's an aggressive attack. Looking at the first couple of weeks and then looking at what they did last week, there's a little bit of change. So there is some variety, and I know he's got a lot more. I remember coaching against or being a part of staffs that went against Steve Wilkes' defenses and the attacking style, the exotic pressures, and they had a lot more than what they're doing right now. But there was a little bit of a shift. But this is a group that's salty. They run to the ball. They're a very aggressive group. They got a good front, and it's certainly going to be a good challenge for us this week. All right, thank you.